Toro, ang inyong magiging guro sa Oral Communication and Context, 21st Century Literature in the Philippines and the World, Reading and Writing. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat at maligayang pagdating sa Baras Senior High School, home of the Baraseños. Maraming salamat sa pagtangkilik sa ating paaralan. Ako, 10 ng mga guro at mga non-teaching staff sa Baras Senior High School ay wini-welcome kayong lahat. Ngayong araw ay pag-uusapan natin ang mga virtual meeting norms gamit ang Google Meet platform. Ito ay ang mga kinakailangan ninyong gawin at isaalang-alang bilang mga virtual participants sa mga webinars, meetings at iba pang online events. Ako si Binibining Hazel Angeline Tesoro, ang inyong magiging guro sa Oral Communication and Context, 21st Century Literature in the Philippines and the World, Reading and Writing Skills at iba pang mga asignatura sa Humanities and Social Sciences strand o HUMSS. Isa rin akong Google Certified Educator at Microsoft Education Ambassador. So without further ado, let's get started. Una nating pag-uusapan ay ang pag-join sa isang Google Meet call o kahit anong virtual event. Ipinagpapalagay natin na ang virtual na pagtitipon ay naiset gamit ang Google Calendar at kayo ay naimbitahan sa pamamagitan ng email na siyang na-receive nyo rin via that email address. So ganito ang appear sa inyong screen. Kung hindi naman, maaaring i-click nyo na lamang ang link na na-send sa inyo via your GC or wherever you got it from. So, pindutin lamang ang link at once you click on that link, ayan, kayo ay papasok na sa ganitong window. So, ganito yung magiging itsura niya. Matapos maklik ang link papunta sa call, kailangan ninyong i-check ang inyong peripherals kung gumagana nga ba ang mga ito. Ngayon, ano yung peripherals? Ang peripherals ay ang inyong camera o microphone na siyang mag-enable sa inyo na makapag-participate during that virtual event or call na ina-attendan ninyo. By default, naka-on ng inyong camera at microphone and that way, mai-detest nyo kung gumagana nga ba siya. So, once you have tested already your devices, if they are working, pwede nyo nang pindutin ang join. Ngayon, kung hindi pa rin gumagana ang inyong peripherals via your desktop, you may just watch this video tutorial by scanning the QR code at kayo ay madidirect sa aking tutorial video via my YouTube channel. So, ngayon na na-test nyo na at gumagana na ang inyong microphone at camera, maaari nyo na itong i-off bago pindutin ang join. So, pindutin lamang ang join kapag handa ka nang sumali sa isang Google Meet call. Ngayon naman ay tatalakayin natin ang tamang paggamit ng microphone sa isang Google Meet call. So, paano nga ba mag-on at off ng microphone? Sa iyong mobile device, makikita ang microphone button sa bandang ibaba ng screen, sa gitna ng iba pang mga buttons. Sa desktop naman ay nasa leftmost part ito. Kapag white ang microphone button sa mobile, ibig sabihin ay naka-off ito. Pula naman sa desktop. Kapag gray naman ay naka-open ito at maaari kang magsalita at lahat ng sasabihin mo ay maririnig ng lahat ng participants na nasa call. Ngayon naman, paano gamitin ang camera sa isang Google Meet call? Ang pag-on ng camera sa isang Google Meet call ay isang paraan to let people know that you are present at hindi ka AFK o away from keyboard o di kaya naman ay MIA o missing in action. Sa iyong mobile device, makikita ang camera button sa bandang ibaba sa gitna ng leave call button at ng microphone. Sa desktop naman, makikita ito sa gitna ng microphone at live captions button. Kapag white naman sa mobile, ibig sabihin naka-off ito. Pula naman kapag sa desktop. Kapag gray naman, ibig sabihin, naka-open ito at kung ano ang nakikita sa view ng iyong camera ay nakikita rin ng mga taong present sa Google Meet call na iyong dinadaluhan. Kaya naman kailangan nating protektahan ang inyong privacy sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng virtual background sa Google Meet. Ngayon, paano nga ba magpalit ng virtual background? On your mobile device, ang una mong step na dapat gawin ay i-turn on ng iyong camera. Pangalawa ay pindutin ang change background button na nasa ilalim ng iyong camera preview box. Yung button na yon. At pagkatapos nun ay maaari ka nang pumili ng virtual background among the choices provided for you. Ganun lang kasimple, hindi ba? Ngayon, kapag naman ang gamit mo ay desktop o laptop, maaaring i-click ang icon na may 3 dots sa bandang ibaba, kahilera ng ibang buttons, at hintayin lumabas ang pop-up menu at piliin ang change background. Pagkatapos ay maaari ka nang pumili ng virtual background na iyong gusto. Ngayon, kung may nais ka namang itanong o sabihin sa speaker o kaya naman sa meeting moderator, maaari mong gamitin ang raise hand button. Paano nga ba ginagamit ang raise hand? Sa iyong mobile device, makikita ito sa gitna ng microphone at ng 3 dots icon papunta sa settings. Sa desktop naman, makikita ito sa gitna ng live captions button at ng present screen button. Sa iyong mobile device, malalaman mo na naka-raise na ang iyong hand kapag naka-white na yung button na yon instead of gray. Sa desktop naman, malalaman mo na naka-on na ito kapag blue na ang button na ito instead of gray. Hintayin lamang na ma-acknowledge ka ng speaker o tawagin ka ng moderator upang iparating ang iyong concern o tanong at saka ka lamang pwede magsalita o i-turn on ang iyong microphone. Para naman i-lower o ibaba ang iyong hand kung wala ka ng concern o katanungan o nasagot na ng speaker o ng moderator, pindutin lamang ulit ang hand button para ma-lower ang iyong hand. Babalik ulit ito sa kulay gray na icon. Ngayon naman sa paggamit ng chat box, karaniwan din ito na ginagamit kapag merong tanong o kaya may gusto kang sabihin habang nasa Google Meet call. Sa mobile, makikita ang chat box kapag pinindot ang 3 dots icon at hanapin lamang ang in-call messages. Sa desktop naman, makikita ito sa rightmost part ng screen sa gitna ng participants button at activities button. Kagaya ng usual chat boxes, maaari tayo mag-type ng ating mensahe o tanong dito sa chat box na siyang mababasa naman ng lahat ng participants na nasa Google Meet call. Kaso, kailangan nating siguruhin na i-reserve lamang ang paggamit ng chat box sa messages of value. Meaning, merong mga mahalagang katanungan lamang para sa speaker o moderator. Ngayon naman ay pag-uusapan natin ang pag-activate ng live captions on Google Meet. So, bakit nga ba natin kailangan i-turn on o off ang live captions? Maaari tayong asistihan ng live captions upang mas lalong maintindihan natin ang sinasabi ng ating kausap o ng kasalukuyang speaker na nasa Google Meet call. Lalo na sa ating mga kasama sa call na maaaring may problema sa pandinig. Nakakatulong din ito kung may mga pagkakataong mahina ang ating internet connection o intermittent ito o di kaya naman ay kapag static ang audio at parang choppy. Available lamang ito sa ngayon sa wikang Ingles at iba pang wikang Banyaga. So we are hoping ngayon na soon ay magiging available na rin ito sa wikang Filipino. So para i-turn on ang captions sa iyong mobile device, pumunta lamang sa 3 dots icon at saka piliin ang show captions. Sa desktop naman, maaring pindutin ang live captions button o yung may CC. Ang ibig sabihin ng CC ay closed captioning o closed captions. Kapag naka-turn on na ang captioning, makikita ninyo ang pop-up message na ito. Captions are starting sa mobile at sa desktop naman ay captions have been turned on. So ngayon, paano naman natin gagamitin ang share screen o present screen button sa Google Meet? Kaya dito may warning button o warning sign is because kailangan natin i-avoid ang pag-press ng share screen button without permission and when not being asked to. Ulitin ko, Iwasan nating pindutin ang share screen button o present screen button, lalo na kung walang permiso na speaker o di kaya naman ng mga nagpapasinayan ng virtual na pagpupulong gaya ng meeting moderator. Ito ay sa kadahilanan na maidi-display nito ang anumang nilalaman ng iyong screen. Kaya iwasan natin na pindutin ito bilang paggalang sa speaker, sa mga kasamahan natin sa Google Meet call at bilang pangangalaga na rin sa iyong privacy. Dahil dito, kailangan nating hintayin ng hudyat ng speaker o moderator bago natin pindutin ang share screen o present screen button. So, that's it for our virtual meeting norms at ang mga kinakailangan ninyong tandaan at isaalang-alang bago sumali sa isang Google Meet call. Sana ay may natutunan kayo upang magamit ninyo sa susunod pang mga virtual events natin sa school o ano pa mang mga pagpupulong, hindi lamang gamit ang Google Meet kundi sa iba ring mga platform. Medyo nagkakaiba-iba lang yung interface niya, pero I hope that the skills that you acquired here will help you get through sa iba pa ninyong mga virtual events. And with that, for more tutorials like this one and other related content, and to get to know more about me, you can just follow me and check out my socials. That's Hazel Angeline Tesoro on YouTube, Teacher Hazy on Facebook, and on Instagram. Let's interact, and I hope to get to know you more too. And with that, thank you and see you around. Bye! See you on our next video. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Magandang
all powerful and ever living God, the cause of all goodness and graces, the inspiration of all learners, young and old, who is wisdom and love. We are grateful for every opportunity given to us for learning and discovering the wonders of life and the world, the opportunity to seek meaning and understanding to everything that life has given us. We beseech you, O Lord, to grant us the strength and fervor in keeping our minds open to every lesson taught to us by our mentors. Bless our teachers with perseverance to continuously provide awe-inspiring discussions and to never tire in their passion for teaching the youth, the hope of every nation. Bless us, the students of your infinite knowledge, to make us unceasing in discovering the wonders of the arts, the sciences, and the technologies, that we may use them to make our lives better in this world where we journey towards you. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen. All powerful.
Certain one. Ayan, so we have 10 people in the call, including me. Hello sa inyo and good afternoon. So, ayan, medyo hindi na ako nakapagpalit ng slide deck, no? And this is actually from yesterday, but I added other slides naman that are part of the self-learning module. Okay, so to the 10 people with us today, I would just like to remind everyone na inadmit ko today kasi if you are not part of the calendar invite, kapag hindi nyo na-receive yung calendar invite via email, you will not be able to join the call automatically. So, yun yung reason that I asked for your emails before I started the call and before I set the calendar invite para diretso pasok na lang kayo. So, I also had a few emails that bounced back, a few invitations that were not sent just because may mali dun sa email address na sinend. Okay, so to those people who needed my permission before you got admitted here, please send me your email address via our chat group, ano, later na lang after ng ating session. Okay? So, happy Halloween sa inyo! No, malapit na tayong mag-undas at malapit na rin na matapos yung ating first set of subject. But let me remind you that last Friday was on also the International Stuttering Awareness Day, and that was last Friday, and I forgot to mention about it last kahapon, ano, kahapon. So this commemoration is very important to me, okay, and I'll be telling you later. So now this is also related to our subject, oral communication in context. Now why? Okay, stuttering is a speech defect, okay, so it is somewhat related to speaking then, ano, so it is an interruption to the flow of speech, and this can happen in different ways. So first one, it can be because of repeating sounds. Ayan, can I have a biscuit? Or repeating words. Ayan, my name is John. So if you know people who do the same, ayan, they are persons with stutters. So other signs are the prolongations. Ayan, for example, sock shoes. Ayan. So another person I admitted. Again, reminder to those whom I admitted in the call, please send me your email so that in our next sessions, you won't need my permission before you get in. Okay, matik na, pasok na. Other signs, ayan, blocks, ayan. Biglang nagkaka-fixation, okay, tumitigil sila when they speak. A person who stutters may also look like they are tense or struggling to speak. Some others look like they're lying, di ba? Some people think of person with stutter that they are lying, they are not telling the truth, or they are not confident with what they say, or they are guessing what they say. Okay? So that's the drawback. So actually, if you are familiar with the movie, Isang Daang Tula para kay Stella, ayan. So
Madaldal eh, no?
May
Fidel here is a person with stutter. Okay, so let's just watch a quick trailer nitong movie.
speech defect ako. Di ako nauutal kapag nagbabasa pero nauutal ako kapag mahaba ang sinasabi ko. Kaya nililimit ko lang sa 3 ang words ng bawat sentence ko
Kailangan mo ilimit sa 3.
para di mautal.
Eh ano ngayon kung mautal ka?
Itim ang lipstick niya, subalit mabait siya. Nasadya akong namangha sa angkin niyang ganda.
So you like writing poetry?
Yes, ma'am.
Baka gusto mo mag-submit ng isa sa mga poems mo.
Tungkol po saan?
Anything that inspires you.
Siyempre, special mention din. Paring Fidel! Huwag ka na masyadong nervousin, ha? Kaya mo
Sa ilalim
Ayan, so that's Fidel. So you may just want to look at the trailer via YouTube. Ayan, but kasi mahaba siya, it would cost us 2 minutes. Ayan, so yan yung condition ni
ng
Fidel.
lipstick na itim ay kulay.
And this one also, ayan, this one naman is a foreign film which shows also a person who stutters. He is King George VI.
My husband is, well, he's required to speak publicly.
I have received
Perhaps he should change jobs.
And what of my husband with a king? My husband has seen everyone.
insert them into your mouth. Enunciate.
He hasn't seen me. I can cure your husband, but I need total trust. What was your earliest memory?
I'm not here to discuss personal matters.
Well, why are you here then?
Because I bloody well stammer.
Do you know any jokes?
Timing isn't my strong suit.
Your methods are unorthodox and controversial.
Up comes your Royal Highness.
It's actually quite good fun.
Yes. Art thou afeard? You're peculiar. I take that as a compliment.
War with Germany will come, and we will need a king whom we can all stand behind.
He's afraid of his own shadow.
The nation believes that when I speak for them, but I can't speak.
You could do it. You needn't be governed by fear.
It'd be like mad King George the Stammerer. Get up, you can't sit there, get up!
Why not? It's a chair.
That is St. Edward's chair.
People have carved their names.
Listen to me! Listen to me!
Why should I waste my time listening to you?
Because I have a voice!
Yes, you do.
Your greatest test is yet to come.
What's he say?
I don't know, but he seems to be saying it rather well.
Your first wartime speech.
Broadcast to the nation and the world.
This great time of crisis.
However this turns out, I don't know how to thank you.
Bertie, you're the bravest man I know.
I intend to be a very good queen. To a very great king.
Forget everything else and just say it to me.
And that is the King's Speech. Actually, hanggang ngayon though, I have watched the movie for a number of times already. And hanggang ngayon, it still gives me the goosebumps. Ayan. So why are we talking about this? Ayan. So we are also seeing now on screen famous celebrities who stutter. Ayan. So hindi lang si King George at hindi lang si Fidel dun sa movie na Isang Daang Tula para kay Stella. Okay? So, just a second, mag-print lang ako ng weekly home nyo. Sandali. Set ko lang yung printer para umaandar siya while we are having our session today. Ayan. So here, ayan. Can you name a few celebrities here that you see on screen? Ayan. So we have James Earl Jones. Ayan. Hindi. But a few ones that I know here are eto si President Joe Biden, but at the time that these photos were collected, Vice President pa lang siya. We also have here si Emily Blunt, yung bida sa Gun Girl, I think, yun sa isang movie na yon. And then we have Ed Sheeran. Ayan, Ed Sheeran also has stammer, and Marilyn Monroe. Ayan. So all these are famous people who stutter, and ayan, na hindi lang mga common people but famous celebrities as well. Now, why am I telling this to you? Because I also am one. I am also a person with stutter, and that's why yung October 22, yung ating International Day for Stammering Awareness is very important to me. No? So I am a person with stutter. I am also having blocks, mga repetitions, and I always get the same responses and mga reactions whenever I tell my students, and most of them do not believe me that I have it, pero I'm telling you I have it. That is why this subject, itong oral communication in context, is one subject that's very close to my heart, and I never imagined I would be teaching this subject, let alone being a teacher. Because there are a lot of changes in a person's life if you have a disability, but syempre it shouldn't stop you in doing the things that you love, in doing the things that you want. Ayan. So if you know people who have stammer, so please give them a hug or a virtual hug, ayan, and let them know that they are not alone, and that you as good communicators will wait for them to finish their sentences whenever they feel like they don't have to. Okay? So, ang dami-daming panahon and chances that I would get to share with you my experiences as a person with stutter, but that would eat up most of our time. Ayan. So, maybe next time. Ayan. Just remember, when someone stutters, it just means that they are trying, that what they're trying to say is good, that it's worth repeating. Ayan. So if you're one, or if you happen to know someone who is a person with stutter, ayan, so give them a virtual hug. So now, we head on to our kumustahan with Teacher Hazetee. Ayan, for oral ko. Medyo naiba tayo na schedule today because I'm actually attending a research webinar at LaSalle. So yun, din siya. Bali online din yung setup, and tomorrow I'll be having naman a research presentation sa Division of Results. So wish me luck. Okay? So, this change naman in schedule is applicable only for this week. Ano? And then next week, back to normal ulit tayo. So, now let's go to our mental health check. Ayan. So, let us know what is the current state of your mind today. Red heart if you're doing great. Orange if you need help with something. Yellow if you're ready to assist your classmates. Green if you're feeling lucky. Blue if you need someone to talk to. Purple if you're ready to listen. Brown if you're struggling with something. And black if you're in a bad place right now. And white if you're healing from something. Ayan, we can now see responses. Angelica is doing great. That's good. AJ is ready to assist her classmates. Ayan, hello AJ. So, kahapon I discovered that AJ is also a Swiftie. Hello AJ. Ayan, si Wonder Joy. Wait, na-miss ko yun. Dali. Wonder Joy, Blue Heart. Ayan. Thank you, Jen Carl, Blue. Need someone to talk to. Ayan. And then Jamaica is ready to listen. Perfect. Abigail is ready to assist then. Alvin is also ready to listen. And then Mark need help with something. Ayan. Ready kang i-assist ng mga nag-yellow. Raya Jenny is ready to listen while I'm admitting. Ayan. The other ones, puro violet na. Ayan. Thank you for sharing. Parang feeling ko mas marami tayo paghapon. Let's do this tuwing hapon na lang kaya, no? Sige, I'll be conducting a needs assessment before we finally decide our schedule in the next few days. Kasi after naman nito, last week na natin sa oral com, and then another subject tayo, 21st century literature. Okay? So ayan, isang malaking group hug sa ating lahat and thank you for attending. Ang saya-saya, 20 attendees today. Ayan, maraming salamat for joining us. No? So, let's have our agenda for today. Previously, we had understanding speech context, speech style, and speech act. And of course, yung communicative strategy. But I noticed that most of you are still confused on these concepts kaya magkaka-review tayo next week. Ano? So that's a gamified review. So di ko na masyadong ispill kasi surprise yung ibang parts. Okay? So this week naman, we'll have principles of effective speech writing and I sent already some topics. Actually, hindi some many topics to choose from para hindi ko yung mahirapang mag-decide. Some others kasi have difficulty in thinking of a topic, generating a topic, but ayan, I already did my part in providing you your choices. Ayan. So, some others naman have trouble deciding on a topic pag maraming choices, pag may choice overload. Anyway, it's up to you. Ayan, now, we discuss the principles of effective speech writing. Analyze the importance of audience profile, logical organization, duration, word choice, and grammatical correctness in writing a speech, and compose a speech applying the principles of effective speech writing and delivery. Okay, so ayan, this is now the introductory part of the module with the cover. Ayan, and then a sample self-assessment. Ayan, that's the self-assessment before the lesson. Ayan, you may want to do that, but again, it's not a required task. Now we have here the principles of effective speech writing which you can use. OMG, ang dami natin, 27. Ang saya-saya ko, Ang dami natin. Thank you so much for being with us. Siguro nga magandang after lunch. Ayan, so what's in the previous module, you discovered how a shift in speech context, style, speech act, and communicative strategy affect all aspects of communication. And that is why it is also your responsibility as a speaker and as the listener then to get on with the flow of the communication. Okay, so lang, ayan, here you have it. So, we also have here a true or false activity. You may want to do that, but again, that is not a required task. Ayan, there's a paragraph here that tells you what a good speech is. Ayan, so this is already in preparation for your speech writing. A good speech requires days or even weeks of preparation depending on the topic and availability of materials needed. Ayan, so that is why I adjusted the original requirements set for you nung nagsulat sa module. So I opted to cut it down to half. Ayan, 1,250 to 1,500 words instead of the standard 2,500. Okay? So ayan, while many experts enough to compose their speech a night before they deliver it, seldom that it is very successful for a beginner writer. Ayan. So I as a writer and as a speaker, I take a lot of time whenever I prepare my speech. Even if yung mga vlogs ko lang, that takes me so long to write yung script ko para doon. So let alone beginners like you. I'd be giving you naman yung 1 week na yon. Ayan, and if hindi pa ready ipasa, then that's okay. Pero syempre, you are all encouraged to submit them on time so that I can return your outputs then and that would allow you to prepare for your portfolio. Ayan. So when writing for your speech, you should consider the following principles. So before ko i-share yung principles na yon, let me share with you also an article that I found kanina lang kasi I was looking for some tips on how to write like a TED Talk speaker. So, do you know what a TED Talk is? Anybody here who's familiar with the TED Talk? O kaya nanonood ng TED Talk? So TED Talks are actually kind of talks that are more engaging. Ayan, so it's like a talk show pero you are speaking in front of people. Ayan, you're speaking alone. It's like a monologue but you have a slide deck or a presentation sa likod mo and there's a large screen behind you. So yun, that's a TED Talk and then you deliver speeches and these are informational, sometimes persuasive, sometimes most of the time inspirational, no? So you might want to check out what a TED Talk is, ayan, and watch some samples of that on YouTube, no? Ayan. Wait lang. Ayan. So I'm admitting people as I speak. So one consideration for you to write a speech is your audience profile. So you have to assess who is your audience. Ano? So uh, if you are writing your speech and of course to deliver your speech whether online or in the physical realm, you have to consider audience profile. Now, why? Okay, knowing your audience, specifically their general age, gender, and all those factors will help you in identifying the most important parts of your speech that you have to deliver to them. And that would also allow you to make sure na your speech will be politically correct. Now, when we say politically correct, this is when you do not violate or you do not offend any culture, race, religion, gender, social status, or an economic background, ayan, or educational background of a person. Okay? Meaning, lahat ng sasabihin mo would be acceptable to all these groups of people. Okay? Lalo na dun sa groups of people na medyo touchy, yung kanilang mga paniniwala like those who are in the LGBTIQA community, di ba? Those who have different political views. Okay, so you have to be careful with the words that you are to use. Kaya tayo nag-audience analysis. Okay, so generally, we do a needs assessment before we conduct speeches and before we write them. So all those things are complex. Ayan, so it would be helpful for you as beginners to know saan magsisimula. Okay, so now, ask yourself these questions. Who is the audience? How many? What does the audience know about the subject and why they would be or why should they be interested in what you are to talk about? Same thing as when you are asked to speak or to give a talk on something. So, syempre, you have to know sino yung participants, ano yung age group, ano yung educational status nila or whatnot. Okay, some things that you have to consider before delivering your talk. Because if hindi match yung material mo, yung content ng speech mo to the audience, baka hindi sila makarelate dun sa speech mo and that would cause already a communication breakdown. Okay? Moving on, ayan, this is a guide on basic audience analysis. Now, you may add other factors that you might want to consider, but ito yung basic, syempre, age group, age bracket, gender, educational background, place of residence, marital status, language spoken, religious affiliations or beliefs. For example, I am asked to talk before youth leaders, okay, youth leaders na elementary, okay, so ang age bracket na kagad around 10 years old to 10 to 12, okay, 10 to 12 years old kung grade 5 and 6 yan. And then gender, of course, that's both male and female, and then educational background, elementary, so that would allow me to adjust my speech, to adjust the content of my talk na makaka-relate ng elementary. Kasi if I use high-level English words or mag-English ako all throughout my talk, my audience would not be able to relate with me, no? Place of residence, ayan, so that is quite very easy naman to fill out. Status wala, language spoken, ayan, English and Filipino. But syempre, it would be helpful na if you're talking to kids, ayan, a mix of Tagalog and English will do. Or if may native dialect kayo dun sa lugar nyo, then pwede na pati mother tongue isama, no? Kasi ang students ngayon, ang English nila nagsa-start only by grade 4, no? Because they have mother tongue from grades 1 to 3. And then religious affiliations or beliefs, it would not be of of significance if I talk to this kind of audience kasi hindi naman siya masyadong i-consider. But if naiba yung audience ko, halimbawa, naging teenagers or pwedeng young adults like me, kailangan ko i-consider yung religious affiliations or beliefs or maybe political views kasi baka may masabi ako na tungkol sa leadership na against dun sa paniniwala ng isang leader o baka hindi siya support kay Lenny or kay Bongbong Marcos or whatnot and baka na-offend ko na siya dun sa sinabi ko or dun sa sasabihin ko at my talk. Okay? So, ayan. So, these are touchy subjects, religion and politics. Kaya you should be careful talaga when talking about these things. Number 2, logical organization. Anyone who would like to read the paragraph? Para hindi naman laging ako. Sige. Any volunteer? From the 26 people we have today, ayan, ang saya-saya, ang dami natin. Anyone? Yes. Angelica, sige, please turn on your microphone. By all means, thank you.
Logical organization. Once you have already analyzed your target audience, the next part is to organize your speech manuscript. The logical organization or arrangement of the thoughts when it comes to speech writing can be defined as all aspects of your writing that help the reader move smoothly from one sentence to the next and from one paragraph to another. Thus, carefully planning the content of your speech is also necessary. The written speech has three parts: the introduction, body, and conclusion. The role of introduction and conclusion is mostly similar in many speeches. That is, the introduction presents the main idea of your speech, while the conclusion reiterates the main idea. The body offers definitions, examples, or any information that can help you convey your intent and clarify the main concept of your speech.
Thank you, Angelica. Such a great reader. Ano, ang galing. Okay, thank you. Oh, yan. So, we have number 2, logical organization. So, you have to, of course, organize the content of your speech very well. Otherwise, your audience would be led astray. Okay, baka hindi na nila maintindihan yung flow ng speech mo. Okay, so I forgot to include in this slide yung video that I saw sa Kabulastugan na Instagram account. So hindi coherent yung speech niya, no? I would like to show it to you right now. Very quick lang. Yan. Tingnan natin if I can access it through my browser. Sobrang hindi coherent yung speech niya. Ayan, so ito. It's here. I'm going to share it right now with you. Stop presenting ko muna and then share. Tab pala. I'm so sorry for that. Kasi talagang, mababaw kasi kaligayahan ko. Ayan, ito siya.
Minahal kita kasi sabi mo mahal mo siya. Pero nang minahal ako at minahal mo siya, naghiwalay na tayo, ex na tayo. Dahil ayaw ko na sama sa hindi ako sa mahal mo. Mahal mo siya, mahal mo.
Okay, nagets nyo ba? Di ba? Okay, so walang coherence yung sinasabi niya. Kaya ang hirap na catch ng ganong speaker. Sana hindi tayo ganon, no? Kaya at wag tayong magiging ganon. Ayan, o di ba nakarelate tayo. So yun lang yung outlet ko when I want to to get my stress out, I watch videos in that IG channel. So, ang saya. No? So, ayan, kailangan may three parts yung speech. Ayan, so may mga comments dito. Ano daw, o di ba? Kahit siya naman, mukha siyang confusing his speech, no? So, you have to know the introduction, body, and conclusion. Kailangan yung you introduce your topic with a clear introduction and then follow them with examples, ayan, sa body, and then sa conclusion would be a wrapping up of the examples and the intro. But you are not allowed to present a new idea sa dulo. Okay, so you just have to leave your readers or your listeners wanting something more but do not present a new idea kasi it should be otherwise placed in the introduction. Okay, so ayan. We also have here the parts of the speech. Ayan, so ito nga, intro, body, and conclusion. Ayan, so the intro is the most crucial part. It is generally only 10 to 15%. So it should have 5 functions. Number 1, to gain audience attention and interest. Kaya tayo may tinatawag na hook. Hook yung, paano bang, kalawit ba tawag doon or what not. Basta hook. Okay, so it should be able to gain the attention of the audience. Otherwise, if you were not able to catch the attention of the audience, wala na. Okay, malamya na yung speech all throughout. So it states the purpose of your speech, it sets the context, it also establishes your credibility. Okay, so it should provide reasons for your audience to listen, and intro should review the main idea of your speech. Para siyang overview of what we are going to talk about. Also, when you find an introduction interesting, para kang nanood ng song performance na sa unang notes pa lang, na-hit na ni singer yung notes. So, singer, okay? So, na-hit na ni singer yung notes, tama yung paso, okay? Right mix of the melody and the voice. Ayan, so yun. That's how good an introduction must be. Yes, Angelica, you have a question? Or ito yung raise hand mo pa kanina no magbabasa ka? Sige, if you have a question, sige, I'll be allowing you to turn on your mic and ask your question. One more, sige, mamaya ulitin ko yung video one more. Ayan, sige, kanina. Okay, thank you. Ayan. And then followed by the body. The body is the core part. Ayan, so parang sa essay, ito yung laman. Okay, this is the main content of your speech. So you should spend more time to improve the body. Ayan. Siyempre, ayan, we have specific patterns on how we can craft the body very well. So we can use the problem solution order pattern. It explains the problem and suggests a possible solution. Number 2, we have the categorical or topical order. Ayan, divides the topic into subtopics. Ayan. So example, importance of promoting the reduce, reuse, and recycle program. Ayan. And then we also have yung one nga, problem solution order. You presented a topic, you presented a solution para siyang cause and effect. No? And then you have to present what is the problem and how are you going to solve it. Okay? Number 3 is the chronological order, a historical or time approach. Ayan. So if your speech topic that you have chosen is bagay dito sa order na to, then you might want to use it. Ayan. An example topic, ayan, the significant development of the province of Laguna from Spanish period to present. Ayan. So this is more like about historical topics, no? Or merong development from past to present. Or comparison and contrast, presents comparison and contrast, syempre. So that's self-explanatory naman, comparison, halimbawa of students living in the city and students living in the province, students under the modular distance learning modality, tapos students under online classes. Ayan, those are comparisons. And then spatial or geographical, going from one place to another, one direction to another. Spatial, we talk about space. Geographical, we talk of geography, syempre. Causal order, ayan, cause. So we also present cause and effect. Okay, causal order. Example, the fish kill in Laguna, Libay. So, ang cause niya, syempre, you are going to delve into what might have been the cause of the fish kill. Okay? So, ayan, make sure that you move smoothly. So, apart from using any one of the patterns presented, you may use transitional words and devices. Actually, hindi lang ito ang transitional devices, napakarami, okay? But you just have to siguro pepper your speech with some, no? Hindi naman puro buong speech mo na ay puro transitional devices na. Just siguro mga 10 to 15 would do. Or kung beginner ka, siguro 5 to 10 would be enough. Okay? We have for addition, for comparison, for contrast, for emphasis. Ito, sinasabi ko lagi sa students ko, kahit nung may face-to-face pa, if you want to get better in writing and in speaking, you may want to pepper your speech or your writing with a few transitional devices. Say, halimbawa, kahit yung simple nagsasagot lang na essay sa school, ayan, you may want to add 1 or 2. Kasi, ayan, this will help you connect one idea to another idea and one sentence to another. And kapag nasanay ka na, that would improve your skills a lot. Ayan. So, make it a point na bago kayo umuwi sa bahay from class sa school, na may nagamit kang at least 1, 2, 3 na transitional devices, and then you tell your mom, oh mama, nakagamit ako ng transitional devices ko. So yan lang yung joke ko before nung may face-to-face pa, but now, ayan. So you may just consider one. Or kahit sa simpleng Facebook post, di ba? Sa simpleng chat mo sa friend mo, ayan, you may use transitional devices to summarize your thoughts or time sequence, for example, or an illustration. Ayan. Namely, specifically, that is to illustrate. Ayan. So, ang dami-daming samples din sa internet. No? And the conclusion part, ayan, after writing the body of the speech, the last thing you need to work on is how to edit. Most of us people have a hard time ending things, no? Sa kahit anong bagay, ang hirap mag-goodbye. Now, how are you going to end your speech? Ayan, number 1, you can present a summary. You can repeat the key ideas presented. You can repeat the central idea. You can go back to the strategy that you use in the introduction. You can signal the end of your speech. Ito, meron tayong transitional devices. Ito, all in all together, as has been said, finally, in brief, in conclusion, in short, in simpler terms, in summary, on the whole, to summarize. Okay, we use these only at the end part of the speech or of an essay. We do not say this when we are starting the speech. Okay, otherwise, pagtatawanan kayo ng listeners nyo, no? Kasi nagsisimula ka pa lang, in conclusion ka na. No. Okay? Also, you can end with an impact. Impact, ayan, by using thought-provoking questions. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na you have to leave your readers wanting for more. Ayan, by injecting humor, a quotation, a call for action, a connection to a large context. Pag sinabi natin quotation, you present a quote that is relevant to what you are talking about in your speech. Pag sinabi natin call to action, you want to persuade your listeners to do something na all together, let us fight corruption, ganyan, mga ganon na you are wanting them to do something. You are calling them to do an action. That's a call to action. And then, ito, you can also connect your talk to a larger context, like to a larger community or to a global issue that is relevant to what you are talking about. Any questions sa content? Kasi now we go on to the duration. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na duration natin na from the usual na 2,500 for a 20-minute talk or a 20-minute speech, I opted to have it cut into half para hindi na kayo masyado mahirapan, since you're beginners naman, I suppose, no? So, word choice, ayan, also, it's a very important thing to consider na yung word choice natin, we have jargons or technical terms, ayan, redundancy. You have to avoid that language that is inappropriate for the audience, mga foul words, ayan, taboo, of course. Okay, so you have to avoid that. Ayan, malalaki na kayo, you know that already. And language inappropriate for the occasion. For example, you are speaking before an audience and then the setting is a eulogy. So, syempre, you are speaking about, syempre, celebrating the life of the dead nung person na pinaglalamayan or ililibing. So, it would not be appropriate for you to say things that would embarrass the family of the deceased, no? Syempre, you have to choose your words properly and syempre, that would not offend them. So, kung may memories kayo nung namatay, na may mga inner jokes kayo na kayo lang ang nakakaalam, it would not be helpful to share them before a general audience kasi ang present doon sa libing na yon are general audience like family, friends, magkakahalo yan, office mate, mga kamag-anak and all, mga kapitbahay, mga schoolmate before. So, yan, if there are embarrassing moments that you've shared, keep that to you already. Or be careful enough or think of it 1,000 times before sharing it to a lot of people. So, that's an example. Okay? And for grammatical correctness, syempre, this is given na already when you are writing and speaking. Ayan, so ito naman ay common na, common consideration. Ayan, so what's more, you can do this activity, but again, this is not required. What I have learned. Ayan, so those are just reflection questions. This is an example situation, pero hindi yan yung ginamit ko, no? And assessment din, ayan, you may want to do that, but these are not required. I recommend that you focus only on the tasks on hand para we can save time on your end. Ayan, we have here now our weekly home learning plan. So yun nga, ang task natin is to write a 1,250 to 1,500 word speech for good for a 5 to 10 minute delivery. Okay, so now, ayan, so refer to the rubric on page 11 so you know how you'll be graded. So dun sa mga kadarating lang, let me remind you that I already sent a lot of topics for you to choose from. You can choose from there ng inyong topic, and then kung hindi talaga pa satisfied, you may want to do your own search ng topic kung hindi pa kayo happy doon sa mga sinend ko, okay? And then page 11, rubric, check natin yung rubric. Ayan, so how you will be graded. So syempre, based din dun sa standards na pinresent dun sa module. So for logical organization, 5 points, kailangan logical arrangement of thoughts is highly acceptable, and word choice, ayan, so yan. Now, what's nice here is that you're sure already na walang makaka-0 or makaka-1 dahil ang pinaka mababang point ay 2. Okay, syempre that is to recognize your efforts then as well, no? So ayan, 15 points for the speech writing. Okay? Now, for your answer sheet, ayan. We have here now, ayun nga, yung duration natin, napakita ko na yan. Now, let's go to speech delivery, ayan. So, when you deliver the speech, you have to observe the principles on how to deliver the speech properly. So, skip ko na yung ibang parts para we can focus on what you have to know. Okay, so if you want to be a great speaker, ayan, you have to know that effective speaking means being able to say what you need to say in a manner that is heard and acted upon. And that is one problem of us people with stutter, because at times we cannot say what we want to say because we are nervous, so ayan, or we are thinking that we might stutter. Ayan, so you are blessed if you don't have any speech defect, that you can talk at any time you want, at any time you wish to. So, sana all. Okay? So, according to Stephen Lucas in 2011, author of The Art of Public Speaking, a good delivery means that you are capable and able to present your message in a clear, coherent, and interesting way. Ayan, you have to take note of that na meron tayong sinusunod na standards. Okay, we have clear, coherent, and interesting way. If that is not clear, if that is not coherent, if that is not interesting, you will lose your audience. Okay, they might walk out on you. That's the worst that might happen. Now, good delivery conveys the speaker's ideas clearly. Saan na yung arrow? Ayun. Clearly, interestingly, and without distracting the audience. Most audiences prefer delivery that combines a certain degree of formality with best attributes of a good conversation. Siyempre, hindi rin pwedeng masyadong strictly formal, kasi para na tayong nasa formal event. But, make sure to mix in a little conversational tone na para ka lang nakikipagkwentuhan with your listeners with directness, spontaneity, animation, vocal and facial expressiveness, and a lively sense of communication. Hindi naman kailangang over the top lagi yung energy na parang na parang Ethel Buba or parang Rufa May Quinto, but you just have to let people know na you are not sleepy and that you want to do what you are doing right now, and that is delivering the speech. Okay? So, next step, ayan, articulation. So this is one tool for effective speech delivery. You have to articulate words very well, and the key there is to practice and practice. Ayan. So you have to exercise your lips, tongue, jaw, and palate to form the sounds to speak. Ayan. So that is one form of articulation. So you might want to save yourself some time by saying gonna instead of going to, want to, ayan, wanna, ayan. So hindi lang yan, but the key there is pronouncing the words clearly as well as yung mga sounds ng letters like T, di ba? It's very important, di ba, yung sounds natin. Like din sa mga past tense, ayan, ano ba yun? Said, ayan, wished, di ba? You have to pronounce words clearly and well. That's articulation. Modulation is the control of your voice, adjusting the tone or volume of your voice. Hindi laging parang nahihiya na you cannot let the words out. So the key there again is practice. Practice in front of a mirror, practice in the bathroom, practice anywhere that gives you confidence. Ayan, so that's the key so that you'll know how to control your voice whenever you need it. Actually, may teacher ako nung college. His name is Sir Glenn. Ngayon, ang sabi niya sa amin, ang technique while speaking is do not push yourself na yung boses mo is galing sa throat because that would hurt your throat, obviously. What you have to use is the diaphragm. Ngayon, dahil buong buhay ko, hindi ako sanay na gamitin yung diaphragm, feeling ko hindi siya bagay. Now, this is how it looks like. This happens when you control or adjust the tone or volume of your voice. Parang pabebe voice siya. So, parang ko hindi bagay sa pagkatao ko. So, you might want to try that also. Getting your voice here somewhere in the diaphragm para you are just speaking as you breathe. Okay? So, it's not forced like what I'm doing right now. Nagaling sa throat yung boses ko kaya masakit siya. Okay? So, you might want to try. Anyway, now, we have stage presence. A good stage presence engages the audience into the performance. Now, yesterday I was watching an online seller doon umorder ng bag yung mama ko. And ang sobrang nakakabilib yung stage presence because the online seller is communicating with the persons na nagmamind via the yung seller screen, and then the seller is also speaking with the staff, na nag-aayos ng mga bag na minine, and then I was just impressed by the stage presence, no, though that is not an actual performance, but to me it is. It is an actual speech performance because the online seller has a stage presence and communicating with different types of people and groups of people at the same time. Yung customer, yung mga kasamahan niyang staff, and also you might want to observe also how online sellers communicate, and that would help you then to establish stage presence. And one more thing to observe is how hosts do it. TV hosts, okay, or mga nag-MC na mga event, because they actually take charge of the flow ng program as compared to mga news anchors na binabasa lang nila yung spiel, but hosts like sa Showtime or sa variety show or sa event dyan sa fiestahan, ayan, so they are in charge of how the event would start and would end. So yun, that's stage presence. Now, if you don't have stage presence, pag nawala ka na sa line, you cannot control already what you are to say. And worse, things worse, you will lose the flow and you will not be able to finish the speech that you have planned long before. Yan. Facial expressions, ayan, so you know this already. Gestures, movements, ayan, these are part of non-verbal communication. You may read that. You can also put in a mix of many facial expressions. Ayan. So parang pag kumakanta din, diba? If the song is happy, then your facial expression should be happy, diba? So if the song requires sadness, yung nasaktan, iniwan, pinagpalit, diba? Kailangan sad rin yung mukha mo, diba? So, gano'n. So, this is to help your audience understand the meaning of your message. That is why the nonverbal cues should match what you are telling them dun sa verbal part ng speech, yung sinasabi mo, no? Otherwise, if the nonverbal cues do not match the verbal ones, then magkaka-conflict yan, no? Your audience might be confused or might lose interest in listening to you. Ayan. Also, I told you about gestures already. Yun nga, pag small lang yung audience, little lang yung hand gestures, very minimal. If the audience is like a crowd or you're in a public scene, then you might want to do bigger hand movements. Ano? So, di nakikita yung kamay ko kasi may background ako. Anyway, so yun, bigger hand movements. Okay? Movement, ayan, you might want to read that already, and keeping away from familiarity, hiccups, and verbal fillers. Pag sinabi nating fillers like, ganyan, di ba? You know, tapos sa mga foreigners, you know, is like, and I'm like, and she's like, di ba? Yung mga ganong, fillers. Ayan, you have to avoid that. Ako may fillers din ako minsan, most especially if yung susunod na letter nung word na sasabihin ko is a stutter trigger for me, like tawag dito, ayan, so yun yung mga fillers ko, like of course, ayan, those are fillers, and I am aware of that naman. So the key there is knowing, ayan, and self-awareness, ano yung fillers na ginagamit mo, diba, when you run out of ideas or you run out of things to say. Okay, so if you know what your fillers are and your triggers are, then you will be able now to eliminate them totally from your speech. Okay? Another is, ano pa bang importante dito? Ayan, pacing. Okay, you have to control your pacing. Hindi masyadong mabilis, hindi rin masyadong mabagal when speaking to your audience. Anyway, ang audience nyo naman ay family or household members or friends nyo if you want to do that using online communication channels. So I'm sure that they won't judge you because they would accept you for who they are, for who you are, kasi mahal nila kayo, no? Rapport, ayan, you have to do your speech, ayan, with in concordance or harmony, ayan. So, syempre, dressing or prepping appropriately for the event, ayan, demonstrating in your statements whom you are talking to, of course, and evading the use of jargon, ayan, aware of nonverbal communication. Basically, this is establishing connection with the audience. And one key thing that you have to do here is eye contact. Okay? So, this is a test. Ayan, you may want to do that and this one as well, but these are not required. So, ito, sige, bilisan na lang natin is already 150. This one is a speech from President Emilio Aguinaldo. You may practice saying out loud in front of your family as though you're giving a speech. Pero ito, hindi na to required, no? You may want to practice this. Imagine that you are a government leader, you are a president, and you are to deliver this speech, no? And then you may want to rate yourself using the rubric, pero yung rubric na yon, yun na rin yung gagamitin nyo sa speech delivery nyo using the speech that you have written for the previous task. Okay? This is another task, but again, it's not required. Ito maganda rin tong task na to. Evaluate a speech using the assessment tool. You may choose one of the following materials. Pwede ka manood ng speech from TV, speech from YouTube, or a speech that you can vividly recall. Ayan, from some event you attended. Ayan, you can analyze the speech and how it went. Ayan, your reflection on that. But again, not required. This is the required task. Okay, you have to read the content of the module, practice delivering the speech. Ito, nagtatanong kanina si Emerlyn from TVL. So, you have 3 modes of delivering the speech. Number 1, alone in front of a mirror. Okay, so number 2, before a physical audience, pwedeng family members or household members. Huwag na kayo mag-invite ng external audience, parang awa nyo, dahil that might be cause then of spreading the virus at your home. So please, do not invite a physical audience. Number 3, virtual audience via online conferencing apps. If you have internet, you have means, you may invite classmates or friends to listen to you via Google Meet. Okay? Or pwede rin invite nyo ako, if you are going to do this, yung virtual. Okay? But ang assessment, okay, you are to assess yourself. Okay? Kayo ang mag-assess sa sarili nyo to check if you have performed the speech well. Okay, so assess your own speech delivery by referring to the rubrics on page 20 and 26 of quarter 2, module 3. Okay, so I've been receiving messages na, ma'am, wala yung module 3, wala yung module 3. Actually, nasa likod siya ng module 2. And if you are really reading your modules, alam nyo na nandun siya. Charing lang. Okay, so moving on. Ayan, this is the activity sheet. Ayan, so I already placed here guide marks. Ayan, so practice nga, delivering the speech, and then make sure to compute your score properly by marking yung appropriate na box. Ayan, so you have to read the indicator, and then kung nagawa nyo usually, sometimes, seldom, or never. Excuse me. You know what? It might be helpful if you will record the process of speech delivery so that you'd be able to go back to your performance and rate yourself properly. But if walang device na pang record, that's okay. You just have to trust your memory. No? That's it. And now, ito yung scoring rubric nga natin. And then please compute the scores properly and encircle the level of proficiency that you have. Okay? Para ma-compute naman natin and ma-identify natin ano yung level nyo talaga as a public speaker. So, that would be helpful then if you have an audience para mabalikan nyo ano talaga yung nangyari during the speech, and they could share also their comments on your performance, and that will help you in your self-assessment as well. So, this is the second rubric. Ito naman, in terms of being a capable speaker. Ayan. So, skillful control of technique, effective eye contact, clear enunciation with correct pronunciation, outstanding variations in rate, volume, tone. Ayan. Superior fluent delivery and exceptional use of nonverbal techniques. Ayan, you can use that. And then, any questions before we end? Actually, I would like to share with you an app that I use for pronunciation drills. It's called Color Dictionary. Color Dic lang pala. So, you might want to look for it. Color Dic. Kahit offline siya, it can give you yung pronunciation ng words kahit offline for as long as you download yung mga dictionaries that come along with the app. You might want to explore that as well. So, that's it for our session, reminding you of your portfolio. I'm actually extending the deadline to November 12, and that is to allow you to do the other tasks that you haven't submitted yet, and to allow me rin to check the papers, ayan, on time. And syempre, to return them to you on time. And I'm doing it as fast as I could, ayan, given pa rin the marks that I give you and the comments that I write on each of your papers. So, nag-request si AJ kahapon to let you know ano na yung mga nasoli ko. So, yung mga nasoli na sa grade 11 ABM, weeks 1 hanggang week 6. Ngayon, chinechekan ko week 7 and 8. Sa yung nasoli ko na hanggang week 8. Okay, hanggang week 8 nasoli ko na. Tapos may bagong bigay dito. I'm just not sure if anong weeks yun nandito. Para saan yung link? The link is a link to a dictionary app that I use, which I recommend, pero it's not a required task for you to do. You may just want to explore that app. Sa STEM, nakapagsoli na ako hanggang week 6. So again, I'm doing this as fast as I could. Sa HE, nakapagsoli na ako ng hanggang week 6, pero I would have to admit, very few lang yung submissions ng HE. Please, no? Gising-gising tayo. Ayan. Sa ICT, ganun din hanggang week 6 din, nakapagsoli na ako. Ayan. Yun. And ang dami pang papers dito, so I'll be checking them ASAP. Okay. Now we move on. Ayan. Hoping na lahat naka-A+ sa subject ko. Ayoko nang may bagsak, ha. Kailangan lahat kayo pasado. Anyway, now please don't forget to accomplish your mental health check-in and yung report ng parent and ng guardian. Natutuwa naman ako kasi talagang nagmo-monitor si parent and guardian and reporting to me na nagawa ng maayos yung activity, nagawa mag-isa, ayan, with the help of others. So, yon, hindi ko na to paulit-ulitin. Pero ang importante lang, do not submit tasks na hindi ko ni-require. Okay? Kasi sayang yung oras. Focus on the important ones and hindi ko kailangan ng copy-pasted na answers na nasa likod ng module, please. And ito, medyo na-hurt ako last time kasi nag-check ng papers ako and then I scan them kung plagiarize only to find out na yung iba nangopya talaga sa internet. So please, let's avoid that. Let's not waste each other's time. And as time before me, communicate in our chat groups and don't assume na walang tutulong sa inyo because I'm here, your classmates are here to help you get by. Okay? Don't return yet the modules. Isosoli siya after week 16. Okay, that's on November. November 5 o November 12. So, pag natanggap nyo na yung for second set, that's the time. Yun yung go signal nyo na isoli nyo na yung pang first set. That's it. So, ito yung list of activities natin in oral comm to guide you. Pinrint ko rin to dun sa susunod nyong activity sheet and weekly home learning plan for next week. Kaya, guided na tayo. No? Yan. And, for next week, syempre, good luck, Modular Legends, and isang malaking group hug sa ating lahat. Next week tayo, we'll have an online review session. It's actually a gamified review session, ayan, that would help you understand the concepts better that you learned in oral com kasi yun nga, I detected from the activity sheets that I've checked na meron pa rin ilan na nalilito sa speech context, speech style, speech act, lalong-lalo na sa types of speeches according to purpose and delivery. Also, we are going to have an interview simulation, and this is to help you ace your college admission, scholarship, and employment application. Excuse me. Ayan. So, tell us how we can support you. Ayan. So, yung ating interview sessions, that would also help you a lot in acing your scholarship interview. Ano, sana makaabot. I-check ko nga kung kailan yung schedule natin ng interview. Kasi I'm also one of the interviewers. O, diba? Ayan. So, yung chat groups natin, hoping na lahat ng classmates nyo, members na nito, para hindi sila ma-left behind. Join our groups, our support groups. Check out our social, support our social media pages for more engagement. And that's it. Questions? Be happy to address your questions here. Close ko muna to. Ayan. So, yung isusulat namin sa week 13 na 1 to 50 ay na din po ba? Yes, yun na rin ang gagamitin sa speech delivery. Thank you, Jamaica, for asking the question. Okay? Thank you. Any other concerns? You may want to turn on your mic as well. Ma'am, yung speech po ba puro English lang or pwedeng Taglish? That's quite a tough question because syempre you are encouraged to write your speeches in English. Pero if hindi talaga maiwasan na mag-Tagalog, okay, then you might want to use a few phrases, ayan. But again, I'm encouraging you to write in English kasi we also have, yung rubric natin. Balik tayo sa rubric for us to check yung rubric. Ask me, but if you're going to ask me, I'd allow you. Pero again, you are encouraged to write in English. Okay? I hope I answered the question. Balikan natin yung rubric. May word choice naman dito and may grammatical correctness. Anyway, grammatical correctness can also be judged both in English and Filipino. So, pwede. Okay, thank you, Joy Ann. Any other questions? Okay, you're welcome. So, kung wala ng questions, pwede na tayo mag-picture taking. Photo op na tayo. Sige. Hindi naman po i-record. Hindi naman required, but actually, yung recording can help you get back to your performance para mas madali yung ma-self-assess yung sarili nyo. But again, recording is not required. It can just help you though. Thank you, Denmark. Ayan. Requesting everyone to turn on our camera. Ayan. Hello. It's nice to see you. Ang dami natin today. 27 tayo kanina. Parang ganon. Okay. So, ayan. Hello. Kaway-kaway naman dyan. Ayan. Sige. 1, 2, 3. Ito pala camera ko. So ba? 1, 2, 3. Para sa inyo. Ayan. Thank you so much for being with us today. Ayan, sana next time madami ulit tayo. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Salamat. Ingat.